I'm Alicia 𝗵𝗵𝘁, and I am the owner of 𝗕𝗂𝗀𝗵𝘃 Inc. And that is a 14-and-a-half-year-old operations management consulting firm. So what does that mean? I basically work with small business owners like yourself. I help create what I call business infrastructure for fast-growing small businesses. And basically what that means is I help those owners take a look at all of the people, the processes, and the tools and technologies that are needed to truly take their company to the next level. It's all about building a foundation so that your company can grow in a very sustainable and also profitable way. And today I want to share with you 5 must-have business books that I think every fast-growing small business should have from an operations perspective. Let me qualify it by saying operations. And in case you're wondering, well, Alicia, what do you mean by operations? Operations literally refers to all of those activities that kind of take place in your back office. It's the things that your customer doesn't see that you actually do to deliver your product or your service. So for example, I'm producing this video for you right now, but you guys have no idea all of the prep work that went on behind the scenes to be able to present this information to you today. So let's get right into the books. The very first one that I recommend is called The E-Myth, and it's by 𝗪cie𝗿𝗹𝗀. The subtitle is Why Most Small Businesses Don't Work and What to Do About It. In my opinion, every single startup company must have this book. The E actually stands for entrepreneur, and the myth is that if you are good at doing a particular thing, let's say you might have a job right now and you're very good at basket weaving. This is just an example. And so you may get downsized, laid off, you get fed up with your boss, decide to quit. For whatever reason, you no longer have that job in that basket weaving company. So you tell yourself, well, I'm really good at doing this, so I'm going to start a business doing basket weaving. Well, what 𝗪cie𝗿𝗹𝗀 is saying is all you've really done is created a glorified job for yourself, because most small business owners that start their companies are what he defines as technicians. You know how to do the technical work of the company, but you don't have the vision that the true entrepreneur has, and you may not have the discipline to carry out all the policies and processes and procedures that the manager may have. So he identifies 3 different types of people that start a company: the entrepreneur, the technician, and the manager. Definitely get this book. Again, I think it's great at the startup level because it's warming you up to the idea of why it's so important to document processes and get your operations manual in place. One other really quick thing I'd like to point out about this book: 𝗪cie𝗿𝗹𝗀 does, in my opinion, a very good job of describing why you want to document your company's processes. He says even if you don't plan on franchising your company, you want to make sure that you document everything, because as you start to hire more people, they're going to have to know how to do the different things that need to be done in order to keep the product or the service that you're providing as consistent as possible. That's the E-Myth. Next up, we have Behind the Facade: How to Structure Company Operations for Sustainable Success, written by yours truly. And this book is actually based on my 13 years of working with hundreds of different small businesses all around the world, and I started to notice common themes and patterns whenever I was working with these companies. Number one, they were not at the startup phase anymore, so they've graduated from the startup level that the E-Myth is really focused on, and they're really at that emerging, fast-growing level. They're at a point where they have more business than they can handle, and that's when they realize processes, business infrastructure is not a nice to have, it's a must have. So in my book, I actually introduced this methodology that I created based on working with all of these small businesses over the years, and it actually helps you put into place what I call business infrastructure, which is again a way to create a system that links together all of the people, the processes, and the tools that are needed to grow the company in a sustainable way. The cool thing about this book is that it doesn't have to be read from cover to cover. You can actually pick and choose which chapters you want to read based on a very specific pain point that you may currently be experiencing in your company. And it actually has stories. So it's not a dry how to, step 1 you do this, step 2 you do that, then step 3 you do this. It's actually told in a story format, which is loosely based on some actual clients that I've worked with. So make sure you get your copy of Behind the Facade: How to Structure Company Operations for Sustainable Success. The next book, so you've grown past the startup level, you're quickly growing now, you have more business maybe than you can handle, you're starting to get your business infrastructure into place, you understand the importance of having processes, you're starting to document them. This book is the next book in your growth journey. It's called The Goal, and it's by 𝗖𝗄𝗄𝗪, and please forgive me if I'm mispronouncing his name, and I believe he recently passed away. This is an excellent book. He actually it's written in a novel format, so you can very easily read through it. And it actually tells the story of this man who's working at a manufacturing plant, I believe in Ohio somewhere. The plant is on the brink of shutting down, and he has been tasked with actually turning this organization around. And he's able to do that by really studying the processes within his manufacturing facility. And it's through a series of different things that he does that he reaches this epiphany and understands what it means to truly develop a culture of continuous improvement. And again, guys, this is all about operations and the things that it takes to improve your company on a day-to-day basis. Definitely pick up this book. The subtitle is A Process of Ongoing Improvement. That's The Goal. The next book, so again, on this growth journey, now you've developed this culture of continuous improvement with your processes. The next 2 books that I want to recommend, Scaling Up and The Toyota Way. But let me talk about Scaling Up first. Scaling Up by Verne Harnish. This is a phenomenal book. And even though it's written for companies that he considers to be at that point where they are becoming gazelles, meaning they're very agile, they can quickly move, they've worked out a lot of kinks in their company, and they are really poised to truly just take off. Kind of like what Malcolm Gladwell describes as they've reached that tipping point. So the beauty of this book, in my opinion, is that it's filled with all types of templates and worksheets and forms to really help you think about the strategy that's needed to just see your business profits explode. So he actually has the book organized into 4 main sections: people, strategy, execution, and cash. The other really cool thing about this book is that it's full of color, which I love. So there's a color associated with each of these 4 main points. And when you open the book, for example, this is the Scaling Up People section. And so all of the information that has to do with that particular chapter has an orange tab in the upper right-hand corner. And so the entire book is structured this way. Perhaps the most important thing to point out also about this book is that it includes his infamous 1-page strategy planning worksheet. And I'm going to read this directly from the back of the book. The book includes a series of new 1-page tools, including the updated 1-page strategic plan and the Rockefeller Habits Checklist, which more than 40,000 firms around the globe have used to scale their companies successfully. Definitely check out Scaling Up. Verne Harnish actually created the organization known as EO, which stands for Entrepreneurs Organization. And the people who are a part of that organization, which is global by the way, all have businesses that generate at least $1 million in, I believe, in revenue. I'm not sure about if that's revenue or profit, but I'm pretty sure it's revenue. Lastly, The Toyota Way by Jeff Liker. this is an absolute must-have, and in my opinion, for any company at any size. It introduces the lean methodology, which comes straight out of Toyota, and he does such an excellent job of chronicling how the Toyota manufacturing company came to be, all the way from its origins as a loom company into the automotive giant that it is today. He not only talks about his research, I think he did like 20 years of research on the company before he even wrote this book. But as you can see, I have tons of tabs in the book. It's highlighted. Don't ever borrow a book from me because it is filled with notes and margins and with highlights. But the subtitle is 14 Management Principles from the World's Greatest Manufacturer. Again, it introduces the lean methodology, and many people associate this with companies that are at the very large description, large enterprise level. But again, I think there are some core principles in here, even if your company isn't at that level yet, that you definitely can apply to your business. Being lean is all about stripping your processes and your operations of waste. Wasteful time, wasteful activities, wasteful production, waste in holding inventory. He goes into great detail about each of those different types of waste and different tools that you can use to make sure that you eliminate waste and never reintroduce it into your operations. So there you have it, folks. These are the 5 books again. Again, going in order, we have the E-Myth, Behind the Facade, The Goal, The Toyota Way, and Scaling Up. And I believe all of these books are available also in ebook format. I know mine is for sure. Some of them are also available in audio format. Definitely go on Amazon. You can check out all of these books. And while you're at it, just keep in mind, from an operations perspective, these are definitely 5 books that you want to make sure that you add to your library and just keep referencing as your company continues to grow. Best wishes to you. If you have any questions about any of these books that I've recommended, or if you have some other books that you'd like to recommend, drop down in the comments and let us know. Thank you.